നമസ്കാരം. അണ്ടത്തിലുള്ളതേ പിണ്ടം, പിണ്ടത്തിലുള്ളതേ അണ്ടം. It's a paddle by Chattai Muni about the connection between the physical body and the cosmos. Like Chattai Muni and Kudambai, the 18 Siddhas have all sung about the intimate connection or equivalence of the microcosm and the macrocosm, or the superconsciousness and the self. There are a lot of interpretations about these paddles. So here I am trying to connect the idea with a metallic perspective. One interesting way to look at this is to consider our own heartbeats. The beating of the heart is a reflection of our breathing process. It meant to send blood with oxygen throughout the body. So, do you know why our heart beats? It tries to pump the blood. If we look more into the molecular level, we will find the heart is pumping our hemoglobin molecules. The molecular form of blood is HemA-B. If we look again into the atomic level of HemA-B molecule, its core is an iron atom or ferrous core. As we know, this iron in the universe has been forged in the explosion of the stars and collision of galaxies. So we have this grand cosmic metal circulating in our body, reminding us of our metallic nature with every heartbeat. So the connection of our heart with the cosmos is a metal connection. The Siddha Sampradayam was very clear about this. The Siddha Sampradayam was Shiva Sampradayam earlier. We have Agasthyam and the 18 Siddhas as famous group. But there are also 64 recognized Siddhas and even 9 Navanath Siddhas. They were not merely rishis or sannyasis or spiritual beings. They were also scientists, alchemists, metallurgists, physicians, surgeons, yogis, and so on. Or they created a wealth of knowledge for the society and disseminated it through paddles or songs. So when we talk about metallurgy and siddhas, the immediate curiosity is about the alchemy of creating gold. Everyone asks, can we create gold? Like in rest of the world, there were tremendous research and attempts to make the gold. There is an interesting story about Karuvura Siddhar, the architect of the great Thanjavur Brihadeshwara temple. The story is just like that. The king asked his goldsmith team to create a Nataraja idol at Chidambaram based on a vision he had underwater. So he wanted it made in 41 days. Craftsmen thought it was going to be a simple task. He gave them pure gold to do the idol. For 40 days they struggled, but the mold never settled and the idol couldn't be completed. On 40th day, Karuvura Siddhar, the disciple of Bhogar, comes to the kingdom. Hearing about the struggle, he asked them to step outside and wait for an hour. After an hour, he presents the completed idol to them. They are stunned. So king arrives at dawn on 41st day and sees the idol. He is happy but wants to test the purity of the gold. Finding that there is some copper added, he arrests Karuvura and put him in jail. Then Bhogar and other siddhas appear and tell the king about the mistake of arrest. They convinced him about the mystical powers of Karuvura. When the king goes to the prison, he cannot see Karuvura, who was made himself invisible. Convinced of the holiness of the siddha, king apologizes. Karuvura then tells the king that gold was no interest to him. To demonstrate, he asked them to bring silver. when one pinch of special sinduram he used and converts molten silver into pure gold. This story demonstrates the need of allowing gold as well as the mystical interest in transmutation of metals to gold was there. So now with all the technologies advances today, we can indeed convert through nuclear process with neutron smashing. We can do this. Only that it is not a financially viable way to make gold. So one of the prominent siddhas is Pambati Siddhar. He sings Utta Kuridi Uyar Maringam Unmai Kudalum Ureithachumbu, which means the blood inside you is iron. The basic component of hair is copper. So this clearly describes the identification of metals within the human body. These are found in salt form. The imbalance of metals was identified as the cause of many diseases. So the treatment was to rebalance it, and that has to do through consumable form of metals. So this was the major research siddhas undertook. How can iron be converted to digestible format to treat blood-related issues? Even today, we have iron supplements. So they created medicines with metals in a much purified form. The siddhas are supposed to possess the Ashtama siddhis like Anima, Garima, Prapti, Prakashyam, etc. It is wrong to interpret these as physical powers like transformation of the body into minuteness or huge size, or from huge size to small size, as we had seen gods becoming big and small in the serials. It's better to look at these as mental abilities or higher intellectual capacities to investigate across different scales of our world. They could study the tiny nano scale as well as the cosmic scale. I have personal experience of producing mercury at home. I had seen from my father, from chayilium and other drugs. Special preparations using big pots and with a systematic process. It is called balarasam. It is then used in different medicines after processing and preservation. And medicines like Siddha Magarathwajam is made out of this balarasam. Commonly used metals were gold, silver, mercury, iron and zinc. So a medicine based on metal is readied through a 4-stage process. First, there is a raw material. From it we derive the basic principle. Then there is purification and final medical preparation. The raw material can be a plant origin called Mooligai Vaguppu. There are 11 subdivisions of Mooligais based on the part of the plant that is used, something like root, bark, flower, etc. Then the Tattu Vaguppu, that is the metal base. There are 220 varieties based on 11 metals. Metals are called Loham or Ulogam. Then Kararasam are salts, Padanam are metal salts. Then we have Uparasam, that is about 120 types. Using the metals, they used to make chinduras, parpams, churnams and melugu. In Siddha medicine, the process involves Nittu, Vattu and Kettu. Nittu is ash production or sublimation. Vattu is distillation. Kettu is transforming it to a target form. A longer shelf life and easier absorption by the body were the main criteria. Rasamani is solidified mercury in normal temperature and said to have healing mystical powers. It's always a wonder in Siddha treatment system. The Siddhas travelled extensively to get pure mercury from different sources. So there is an interesting story about Siddhar Bhogar travelling to Rome or Roma Rajya and bringing back mercury from there. So it was supposed to be very effective so was guarded by demons. He waits for the change of guards and steals the mercury, but gets caught. So he convinces them of the mystical powers by stopping the verse. Seeing this, they let him go. Animal origins are called the Sivam Vagappu, like Pulinagam, Porcupine thorns, hen, goat, etc. So aluminium was known long back. It was called Tuvariman in the sulfate form. Charaga and Shushruta used gold, silver, mercury, iron, copper, lead and tin. Mercury was called Parada. There were also particular about which metals to be used to make different surgical instruments. Charaga specified Jihvanir Lekhana Yantram to be made of gold, and Nabhi Kartana Yantra was to cut the umbilical cord, was made up of gold. Similarly, the Vasti pods and eye treatment equipments had specified metals. So it was deep and rich research into these metals. Some of the recent controversies about the metal consumption is kidney issues, poisoning effect, etc. We have to keep in mind that couple of centuries back, this was the only treatment system in Tamil Nadu. The entire population should have disappeared if it has such a bad effect. In Kalari, we have a saying, Amrita Nila Arindavane Asanavu, which means only those can understand the physical changes in an individual. Vital capacity based on moon cycles can become a real expert. So our treatment systems were highly individualized and customized. The medicines were not meant to be standardized, mass produced and put on shelves of medical stores for use of anyone. Understanding the patient was crucial. So when it gets compromised, the treatment can backfire. The Siddhar Padals offer tremendous potential for further research into this hidden and forgotten knowledge system. At the IKS Center for Kalaripayattu and Siddhar tradition, we have begun humble attempts to find out more from the vast ocean of knowledge that Siddhas created and left for us. Thank you.